We've electrified our homes. We're busy trying to electrify our cars. We can electrify a very small segment of the shipping industry, but we cannot electrify airplanes. Today, aviation accounts for more than 4% of global emissions, and it's set to triple by 2050. That's a crisis. The same is true for cargo shipping, for heavy trucks, for industries that rely on liquid fuels. We cannot turn them off, and we cannot run planes on batteries. Which means, if we want to move to a net zero world, we have to reinvent fuel itself. Today, biofuels represent a $200 billion market, but the dominant products, biodiesel, bioethanol, are relatively low uptake fuels. And the dominant feedstocks, corn, soy, palm oil, destroy ecosystems, drive food insecurity, and deepen inequality. But what if the answer isn't corn or soy or palm, but bamboo? Yes, I know. Here in the United States, bamboo has a reputation as being the bad boy of the plant world. But here's the reality. There are 1,700 species of bamboo, and these fall into two very different, distinct growth forms. Only one of these growth forms, known as running bamboo, has even the potential to become invasive. Unfortunately, those species are typically temperate bamboos, such as the ones found here in the United States. The second growth form, to which most of the larger, woody, timber, tropical bamboo species belong, is known as clumping bamboos. These species form very distinct, tight-knit, compact clumps with no potential for invasiveness. Those are the species I'm referring to. Bamboo is a gift from nature. It's a plant that regenerates ecosystems and creates jobs while producing a truly renewable alternative to wood that can be turned into a liquid fuel for cars, for ships, for planes. I'm not talking about turning bamboo into a biodiesel or a bioethanol. Woody bamboo can be turned into a liquid alternative to petroleum and petroleum-derived products. Liquid fuels that have the potential to be a tool to reduce our global dependency on oil. Over the past 14 years, some of the world's most degraded lands have undergone restoration activities. Biodiverse forests have been grown where nothing would grow. Jobs created where there was only poverty. Over 100,000 hectares on 3 continents across 5 countries, utilizing 7 bamboo species and creating more than 2,500 jobs. What this has done is create a replicable blueprint. Bamboo does not need to compete with farmland. It can thrive with a little bit of patience on degraded lands. It regulates water tables. It regenerates soils, reducing erosion. It sequesters and stores vast volumes of atmospheric carbon dioxide in a biological carbon sink. And most importantly, it creates a sustainable material that can be harvested year after year after year for decades with no replanting if it's managed correctly. Bamboo can fuel not only economies, but entire nations. It's proven that it can now grow commercially and at scale, not as a monoculture plantation, but as you can see from the photo behind me, as a biodiverse, holistic, and integrated landscape. Because here's the truth, we're losing the race to net zero. We've been distracted by electrification, which has been critical, but now we're celebrating a handful of Teslas. While our planes still burn fossil fuel, our ships cross oceans powered by dirty diesel, noting that 40% of those ships are only carrying more fossil fuels. and the world and our economies are still addicted to oil. At the same time, we need a new model for development. By 2030, there will be 400 million youth on the African continent alone. And that number is set to double by 2050. The IMF predicts that by 2030, 15 million new jobs will be required every single year to absorb these youth. And that's before we lose millions of jobs to AI. We need a new feedstock, and we need a new paradigm for the way we manage land, transitioning from extractive to regenerative. Because the reality is we cannot continue to destroy forests for palm oil, to take food off plates to grow corn for ethanol, and to leave tens of millions of people living in poverty and expect a peaceful transition to a green economy. Bamboo offers us a different trajectory. These are two different projects on two different continents. The top two photos are from Central America, an area that was once primary rainforest, cleared for commercial agriculture in the 1970s and then abandoned. The second two photos are from Western Africa, an area that was once heavily forested, but had become a devastated, fire-prone landscape, driven by deforestation for charcoal production. Both photos, from left to right, are just 5 years apart. Who does not want to live in a world that looks like these photos on the right? But these beautiful bamboo forests are actually just the starting point. Their development has gone hand in hand with clean technology innovation. A clean technology which was, in part, due to research carried out here at MIT and is now in the last stages of commercialization, with the first facility targeted for here in the United States, has the ability, in a clean biorefinery, to take woody biomass, such as that from bamboo, but including any other form of wood as well, and convert this in a clean, closed-loop system into, first, two core products, a pulp and a lignin. The pulp for bamboo gets converted into toilet and tissue paper, textiles, or packaging. However, the innovation is in the lignin, a product that historically and traditionally has been treated as waste, but contains aromatic compounds that are required for the production of jet fuel. This lignin gets converted into a sustainable aviation fuel with a smaller component of renewable diesel and petroleum. And most importantly, these are drop-in fuels, meaning that no modification of engines is required. These fuels can feed directly into infrastructure and supply chains for crude oil. Just imagine this for a moment, the photos you just saw, a decentralized network of bamboo bioeconomies, where within just a decade, low-value, almost worthless land can be restored into regenerative forests, producing a truly sustainable, renewable raw material. This blueprint has been developed on a manageable scale. Just 15,000 hectares per farm, approximately 37,000 acres, so no need for tying up vast areas of land. Of that 15,000 hectares, 1/3 is set aside for biodiversity and conservation purposes. Each farm can produce approximately 500,000 tons of raw material, representing 750 million rolls of toilet paper, 31.2 million gallons of sustainable aviation fuel, and a further 5.9 million gallons of gasoline. To put that into context, it's the equivalent toilet paper usage of approximately 5 million Americans, 550 transatlantic flights, and a further 12,000 vehicles of average usage powered by a renewable, low-carbon fuel every single year. But that's just the start. Bamboo is an extremely versatile plant, Its woody biomass can be converted into thousands of different products. And that means that once these core biorefineries and framework is in place, the opportunities for additional supply chain and product development is immense, all while driving thriving green communities. Imagine a world where our planes are powered by a bamboo-based jet fuel, ships cross the oceans powered by bamboo, cars, trucks, entire industries, all powered by the world's most sustainable regenerative plant. It's no longer a dream, and it's no longer a question of if we can replace fossil fuels. The question now is, are we willing to pay for it by paying the true environmental price of these commodities? And will we have the courage to scale it? Because if we do, we and our children have the potential to live in a world where these beautiful bamboo forests become the next generation's oil wells. Thank you.